Guess who got an awesome t-shirt for Christmas? The answer is me. I did. It was me. Hello humans, my name is Dale Kingsmill, and today I am bringing you a review of The Hobbit, of the final Hobbit film, as sponsored by the lovely people over at Geek Nation Tours. Yes, The Hobbit was finally released in Australia on Boxing Day, the 26th of December, and the other day I finally got to go and see it, and I tell you what, after being really very disappointed with the second one, I think I quite liked this movie. While I still think that the Hobbit movies haven't quite managed to recapture that same magic that was in the Lord of the Rings films, for the most part I think that this movie was a good movie with bad parts rather than an movie with good parts. Now, there is still an over-reliance on CGI in this movie. As far as I can tell, Billy Connolly's dwarf character was entirely CG. Like, just the whole thing. And they clearly couldn't help themselves when it came to slapstick combat. I mean, who on earth would take a cave troll and replace its perfectly good hands and feet with bommy knockers, with gigantic morning stars? What the hell's that about? There has been a little bit of a habit of setting up particular events as a really big deal and using those as excuses to make The Hobbit into 3 movies instead of the 2 that it probably actually should have been. Like the battle with the Necromancer and Smaug's attack on Lake Town, and then just getting them out of the way really quickly, as if they were somehow interfering or being a nuisance to the story that they wanted to tell in the 3rd movie. Bard was really cool. The whole way through the movie, Bard was a great, cool dude, which I'm so happy about because I love Bard in the book. He's possibly my favorite character. I have a few favorite characters, but I've always loved Bard in the books, and I was really, really pleased to see that they didn't mess him up in this movie. I genuinely adored the beginning of the battle. My goodness, Dwarf Pikeman, heck yes. Dwarf Pikeman is a yes, and now will always be a yes from me forever. And Bilbo in this movie really comes into his own. I really like what they did with Bilbo in this one. Bilbo in this movie is what I wanted Bilbo to be for a lot of the last one. Another weird habit in this film was this recurring thing where something awesome would happen that was just really well done and I thought was great, and then they'd undermine it with something that was just a step too far or that was way too over the top. Thranduil's elk stag charging through the battlefield and smashing orcs out of the way left and right. Awesome! Gimmicky end of the charge where the elk picks up like 6 baddies in its antlers and we watch them dangle their legs and run in the air for a bit. Oh, an interesting focus on Thorin's growing lust for gold and the progression of his dragon sickness and the way it changes how he interacts with the other characters. Flip yeah! Bizarre CGI hallucination of gold floors warping and swallowing him. Why? Legolas joining in the fighting at Ravenhill and providing awesome cover fire and taking out baddies as the hordes rush in to kill the dwarves. Sweet! Legolas joining in the fighting by defying the laws of physics 5 times in as many minutes. No! Now, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it or doesn't want to know what happens or hasn't read the book or anything like that. So I'm going to put in an annotation just over here that you can click on that'll take you further along in the video to when I stop talking about the spoiler things. So if you don't want to hear the spoiler, click on that. Or if you are on a device that doesn't let you click on annotations, then just hit the mute button until I do this. You done it? You clicked mute? Good. There's that gorgeous, gorgeous moment when Thorin and Azog are fighting on the ice, when the eagles fly over and Azog is momentarily distracted because he's like, oh no, the forces of good are rallying together, oh no. And so Thorin takes advantage of this and just hands the big heavy boulder to Azog and steps back off the ice, just super calmly, just steps back off the ice, and then it tips over because it's too heavy on Azog's side and there's nothing to counterbalance it, and so Azog slips into the water and under the ice. It was just so beautifully understated. And then they ruined it by having Azog somehow leap through the to continue fighting. How did he even do that? Like what? There was nothing for him to push himself up from. Was it just the sheer force of will that carried him up with enough strength to not only fly up out of the water, but also to smash the ice on the way? Maybe he's just part leopard seal or something. And see. I guess there was kind of a vibe about the movie and about the whole trilogy that was very much like fan fiction. You know how a fan fiction can sometimes be really enjoyable and really well done. And this one totally was, but it also felt a little bit like one of those fics that tries to improve on the original story that it's based off rather than just paying it the respect that it deserves. And that was a bit sad. I mean, it didn't do it all the time. And I tell you what, actually, the thing that I weirdly think I enjoyed the most in this movie was just at the very end of the movie when Gandalf and Bilbo are heading back to the Shire and you just get lots of shots of them traveling, because that's when it really felt like Middle-earth again. And I think that's kind of the first moment that I realized just how important these panoramas of New Zealand were to the Lord of the Rings movies. I mean, you go to New Zealand and it is like you are in Middle-earth. I am jealous of all you Kiwis out there. So jealous. But yes, on the whole, even though there were different bits and pieces that I found bothersome, I quite liked this one of the Hobbit films, and I think I will probably buy it and watch it again several times. So that's it. That's my Battle of the Five Armies review. I hope you enjoyed it. It was sponsored by Geek Nation Tours. If you didn't see my video that was about Geek Nation Tours, I can put a link to it right here. You get to see lots of photos of tiny human Dale. There's also a link in the description to the Geek Nation Tours Facebook page, so you can go and like that to get any updates on any upcoming wonderful nerdy tours. Don't forget to hit the like button, and also while you're in that area of the webpage, you can click the share and share this video on your favorite social media website. Do subscribe to this channel where I upload nerdy content every week. Email this to your grandma, but for now, this is it. I am done, and I will see you guys some other time. And also, where was the bear awesome? Where was it, movie? Beyond jumping off an eagle and turning into a bear for 5 seconds of footage is not bear awesome. Everybody betray me. I fed up with this world.